Ladies and gentlemen, 1981 is about to enter the Alliance Invictus KvK, which means it is time for me to do an account review. Yes, I do one of these before every single KvK I've done for the last, I believe, 4 or 5 KvKs. If you haven't seen them, go ahead and check that out. I do this as a way to track my own progress, as well as give you guys, the viewers, kind of a look into what I'm fighting with and what I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So for those of you who are new here, good for you. I'm going to be doing a little bit of background on myself, kind of the player that I am, my spend level, how I started playing Rise of Kingdoms, etc., etc. And then for all of my audience, we're going to go through the equipment, the commanders, the armaments, lastly, like the speed ups and the resources, which you can tell I have absolutely no resources right now. I'm kidding, obviously, but we're going to also go through the expectations and my goals for this upcoming KvK, how well I think I'll do, because, man, I asked you guys, and man, my community is, you guys have little faith, trust me, I'm going to get it done. So anyway, let's dive into it. First things first, as I mentioned in the intro, I'm in 1981. I migrated here, I guess, 2 off seasons ago. I was originally in 2089. I then migrated from 2089 back to a KvK 2. After I believe it was my 4th KvK, I was in 2638 then for almost 2 years. That's kind of where I grew up and really fell in love with the game for the first time. I have then since moved on from that kingdom. No harm, no foul. They were great, but I have since come to 1981 because basically they beat our ass in the field enough times. So that being said, I am here. I am kind of like a fake R4 and help kind of advise the kingdom. I wouldn't say that I have a super large leadership role here, but again, I kind of think of myself as a community manager, just somebody who keeps the spirits alive, who helps plan in wartime, who helps advise, like I said, a little bit of the ins and outs of the dead weight and the seed management and all that good stuff. But in general, I'm just here to fight and have a good time. So now, how did I start playing Rise of Kingdoms? I actually downloaded this game in the COVID wave, as did, I'm sure, many of the people watching these videos. And oddly enough, I actually downloaded the game because the ads were so annoying. I said, please stop giving me these ads. I will download the video in hopes to not receive those ads anymore. Long story short, I did not stop getting the ads, and here I am playing RoK almost 4 years later. So, oh man. As far as spend level, I mean, I'm not going to shy away from it. My spending has skyrocketed in the last year and a half. I was a free-to-play up until my KvK 5, and then when I migrated back to 2638, I felt like a need to do a little bit better. A little more responsibility was on my shoulders, and so I started spending. And as I got into Season of Conquest, right, that spending has only gone up. When I talk about my tech and my crystal tech, generally I have purchased the pop-up bundles in the past, and then I usually spend about 1 or 2 gold chests on Mountain Warfare. But as like I said, my spending has increased. That might be increased to dailies this KvK for 2 reasons. 1, it's going to be a really hard KvK, and 2, I need the speed ups. As you saw in that poll, I was looking a little thin on speed ups, but we'll go through that later. So let's dive into the good stuff. All right, so my commanders, I obviously have decked out at least 6 marches. I think I can confidently say that I run the meta 6 marches, but I will continue to invest and hopefully make a 3rd cav here in the future with Belisarius being introduced to the game. But I would classify myself as an inf main, right? Like, I can garrison with infantry, so I've naturally put a lot of my materials into my imp set. So here we go. This is my imp set. Now, this isn't actually my rally or garrison set. I do have a crit level 4 weapon. So this is what I rock with on my Gorgo when I am running like a Gorgo Hera Garrison or a Gorgo Constantine, but generally this is the imp set that I run for the field. My armament for my imp set, now armaments are in a weird spot, as we all know, so this is my wedge set. My other wedge set is fine, but again, arch set and wedge set for infantry, it gets a little interesting. So this is my main infantry set for my wedge formation. So Nevsky, obviously super strong commander. I run a lot of drums. That's the gear. These are the armaments. This looks a little bit gross. I am kind of sad. I hate things that are not symmetrical. So like this march speed and this troop load, like just get it off my screen. I think that I will probably be using the transmutation crystal on this armament here, just because the stats are crazy. Just get rid of this troop load and go from there. This honors to the Pantheon, like there's really nothing that I can do. Like I've already used my 10 rerolls. Artisan, really good inscription, but again, just didn't get lucky here. Zhuge Liang, really good commander. I think probably the best open field debuff in the game. You know, the circular AoE, super strong, only outclassed by one commander, and we will go to him next. But these are the armaments. I think these are my best set of armaments, ironically, even though I'm not an archer main. This is just super good all around. This is one of my most recent armaments that I picked up, but funny enough, I actually might go ahead and buy Balance and put it onto this bad boy pretty soon to replace it. Now, Strategic is super good. This is essentially like a flat 2% all damage, which is just crazy, but it does have the March speed on here, and obviously special inscriptions are crazy, and these stats are also just really good. So we'll see. When push comes to shove, I might buy Balance and put it there, but if not, we'll see where I put it. Next up, we have Liu Che, and I did say that I think that Liu Che is probably the best commander in the game. I think his open field relevancy is absolutely crazy. Smite damage is broken. I'm not exactly sure what Lilith is going to do about that, but here we have my second infantry set. Again, a lot of drums, I know, but there we are. Going to the arch formation, I did recently pick up this battle ready inscription. Really nice. I used my 10 rerolls, didn't get super lucky. I will use my other transmutation crystal that I got and put that here. Everything else is kind of fine, just a bunch of low rolled stats, so it's good enough for like a mid-tier rallying garrison, I suppose. Next up, we have my Boudica, so my second archer set. Nothing too crazy, no crits, another drums, a Pennant of the Eternal Knight that I kind of regret crafting, but that being said, we've got our second archer set here, and this is really good for a second archer set. I will probably end up purchasing Hunter and throwing it on this bad boy, and maybe re-rolling the archer health down here. I think that could be really nice. Again, I do like Breaker, but Hunter is just, you know, Hunter's Hunter, so there's nothing you can really do. My current Cav set is on my Trajan, but normally it goes on my Huo, but for the sake of this video, we'll just look at my second Cav set. This is my second Cav set. Looks pretty good. This is kind of the standard build that you want. Again, maybe not drums, but something along those lines. Yes, you might have noticed that I have 5 drums. Why did I make 5 drums? Do I think that 5 drums is better than 5 horns? No, I do not, but I did originally intend on this account being like a KvK 2 and Season of Conquest hybrid, and you can use drums in KvK 2, and so by the time I had realized that I don't really want to migrate back to KvK 2, well, I'd already had 5 drums, so you'll do what you can. Now, as far as the field marches that I run in KvK, let's see if I can actually whip them out. I can, so we're going to go here, and we're going to look through all my presets. So I try to pride myself as being like a very organized player. I've got presets for open field. I've got presets for my canyon team. I've got presets for my swarm team, all that good stuff. So we're just going to go real quick into what I run for the open field. I do a Gorgo with Liu Che. I feel like that's pretty standard. A lot of people are using the Alex variant, especially with the new museum buff coming out. Alex is fantastic, but with some of the support skills that you get in Alliance Invictus, man, this Gorgo Liu Che is going to be absolutely disgusting. I think we're going to have access to like the Joan of Arc Fort skill. So anyway, this combo is going to be gross. I run the ZL with Herman, classic combo. I will be running the Boudica with Asher Benapol, and you can see that it's actually not expertise currently. Oh, I don't want to override, but it will be expertise when we get into KvK. I've got like 900 gold heads saved up, give or take. And then we have the Guan Skippy timeless combo, really good. People are saying like Guan Skippy doesn't trade as well anymore. I don't know. I have never had that problem. This combo trades awesome for me. I love Guan Skippy. Will always be a fan of this march. And then we have Huo with William and the Nevsky with Joan. And then I don't run 7 marches in the field. I just don't have a 7th set of equipment, but it eventually will be Cavs, and I will most likely invest in Belisarius Prime when he gets released into the game, and that will likely be an XY Belisarius Prime pairing. For my swarm setup, I do have the Tariq Sargon. Not my favorite investments, but I do rally occasionally. So when I am being asked to swarm, this is the lineup that I come out with, right? It's going to be the Tariq Sargon, Guan Skippy. It will be the classic 2 archers, and then the classic 2 cab pairs. Now, the cab pairs I'm thinking about, we'll see where I go, but it will either be the William getting replaced by the Belisarius, or it might be the Huo getting replaced by Belisarius, depending on what I'm swarming. Funny enough, Huo actually does not provide a ton when swarming a structure, which is why he's really bad for rallying. Now, if you pull him off quickly, then he's fine, but like he actually only has really 2 relevant skills. So we've got obviously a really strong active skill factor. We've got this skill, which works. But we have this skill that after 15 seconds of swarming, he just kind of does nothing. He does 10% more normal damage, and then this skill doesn't do anything, and the expertise is obviously an increase of this skill, so he's not really great. So like a Mina, do I bring in Mina? Anyway, this is not a swarm video, but this is just the thought process of the commanders that I use and when I use them. So as far as all my commanders go, you can see that I've got a pretty extensive list here. I do Parb Chain very, very regularly in KvK, even in off-season a little bit, so you will run, or will notice that I run a lot of these weird builds on my Zuge and my Huo. I do obviously change them when I get into KvK and start fighting people, but I do keep those builds pretty consistently while I'm not fighting people. Like I said, my next investment will be Asher Benepal. And I really think that this commander is really quite good. I do think that he's a step above YSG just simply because YSG lacks defense. And if you can put YSG's force skill on another March, it makes that March infinitely better. So most of the time that March is going to be on the bench anyway in like a support role. So as you can see, I've got the 886 gold heads. That'll go up a little bit as these recharge events come around in this game. But yeah, I have taken a few city rallies. I've got the Hera YSS, but do I regret getting YSS Max? Probably. He hasn't really done much for me, but again, I just bought him in dailies, so I've unlocked most of the commanders here, but you can see that I've got pretty much all the meta commanders where I want them. Now, next up, we're going to go into my speed ups. So normally I pride myself about like having as many speed ups as possible because I chain a ton in KvK, but I just won a Zenith skin that you probably saw before I pulled this up, so I am pretty much speed up dry right now. These are my training speed ups, not super useful in KvK. I suppose you use them to train your bastions and your quests, but these are the universals, and this is what you really care about. So I did the calculations not too long ago. This was under a year, but now is slightly over a year. It's about 420, 430 days. I did buy a few bundles, and I will be chaining my ass off when I get into KvK, so hopefully this is about 600 days by the time fighting actually starts, which I believe will be May 10th, and that should sustain me going forward. I will probably be swapping to France just to make sure that I use all my speed ups efficiently, because that is really going to be my limiting factor. You can see that in my resources tab, right? Like I've got a ton of resources, and obviously you can see in the top right, you know, I'm not going to be limited on resources as KvK. I did open up all my level 1 resource packs because I do that at the end of every off season just for fun, but yeah, I mean, you can see that resources really just won't be an issue. Now, as far as my actual expectations this KvK, you will have noticed that the poll that I showed in the intro said, do you think that I'm going to get less than 2 bill, 2 to 3 bill, or more than 3 bill? Well, my record is about 2.1. I've been getting 2 billion kill points for the last 3 KvKs, you know, give or take. And this one is really lining up to be a good one. So my personal goal is 3 billion kill points. I think that I can do it, even with my limitation on speed ups. I really just think that I'm going to chain enough to do it. And I'm the kind of player that, well, if I run out of speed ups, well, guess what? There's a bundle waiting for me. So, you know, I'll do what I can, and I'll make sure that I'm always on the field and supporting my kingdom as much as possible. Next up, we've actually got city skins. So some of you guys are interested. Like I said earlier, I did win this recent Zenith. I will actually have a card for that right up above me. It was a crazy time. I spent like $1,000 trying to like push last minute. I gemmed like 200,000. I think 200,000 gems worth of troops, something like that, which I don't do. I'm not some like crazy Kraken, but man, it was painful and stressful, but a lot of fun. So I got this universal attack. I do also have the 12% Cav health skin, so you know, one day I guess if I ever Cav rally, but with how the, you know, the gear and iconic system works now, I don't think I'll ever do that. And then this is my infantry attack skin. This is my first Zenith that I ever won. This is my baby. I love how this thing looks, and yeah, this one will always have a soft spot in my heart, and I still use it to this day when I garrison with infantry. And that about wraps it up. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that I'm absolutely absurd for hoping that I can get 3 billion kill points this KvK? And would you like to see me try? Because I will be streaming this almost the entire KvK. I think our first pass fight is on the 10th. We've got another one on the 16th. Again, all this depends on Chronicles, but I will be streaming it. So I hope to see you guys there because I will be live. Anyway, thank you for sticking around, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.